Alrighty, it has been a minute. We have been gone. We have taken a little break, get ourselves together because it's gonna be a packed show today. As always, it's yours truly, Charles Comer and James Spencer
What's
on
up?
on the Over and Under podcast. James, how has life been?
Hey, it's been rough. Working, whooping my ass the past few weeks. And plus with, what's it called, holidays and shit? Tough.
Were
Tough
you uh
business.
were you good this year? Did Santa bring you a lot of presents or what?
I got money and then a laptop. So I guess
Can
so.
never
I
you
did
can
something
never
right.
you can never go wrong with a little bit of cash, you know? A little bit of
Yeah, I
cash.
need that. What about you? You get good stuff?
Nah, I spend a lot of money. I can tell you that.
I didn't get anybody anything.
Really?
No, nothing.
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 Boy.
They got
Must
they got me showing up. That's about it.
boy said if I'm here, the party's right. Right.
There you go.
Now I got my girl a purse and some glasses. I gave everybody else money because I was,
Mm.
and I got a lot actually. To be honest with you, I got like these bracelets I've been wanting, and then a couple other things I forgot. But what I didn't forget is we had a football season still. We
Yep.
got bowl season. And we had a lot of games. You had Arizona versus Oklahoma, USC versus Louisville. You had the big games like Ohio State versus Missouri, Auburn versus Maryland, and Ole Miss versus that Penn State Nitty Lions.
Yep.
But we're gonna get right into it. Arizona versus Oklahoma. Coming into this game, we expected to see a pretty high scoring game. I think the over and under was 59.5 points. They were playing in the Alamo Dome, so the weather wasn't going to be a big factor in this game. Arizona, number 17 in offense. Oklahoma, number 5. Arizona average games 454 yards. Oklahoma coming into this game averaging 503 yards per game. However, your boy wasn't here. Dylan Gabriel wasn't here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator, wasn't there. So the masterminds of the Oklahoma offense wasn't there, and more than likely their offensive line wasn't there at all. So how this game played out, how did you feel that the performance of Arizona and Oklahoma?
Boy, it was a shootout for a while.
Yeah.
I wasn't. To be honest, I know everybody's saying like it's gonna be a high scoring game. I didn't think because when people say that it's not gonna be that.
Yeah.
Nah, they was out there slinging it. It didn't matter if they was throwing picks, fumbling the ball. They was just out there, just risking it all for the bowl game. And I mean, it was a good game. Out of all the games, probably my favorite one to watch because it was just going. And what's it called? The quarterback from Oklahoma,
Sam Arnold.
Arnold. Hey,
Yeah.
Oklahoma might have somebody going
You
into
think
the SEC.
you think they
Maybe.
got somebody?
I think they might, bro. He didn't look bad at all.
He didn't look bad. He threw 4 picks or three.
Like I said a minute ago, they both quarterbacks were out there slinging it, bro. I just watched these highlights a second ago, and they were both slinging the ball, both throwing picks. So I mean, it is what it is with that. I mean, it's the last game of the season, so I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm not going to the draft or nothing. So both of them out there just going crazy. So
I think I was more impressed with Fafita. Well, let me say this. I was more impressed with Fafita because during the whole like broadcast, they were saying like he's so undersized, right? Like he's
mm-hmm.
like 5. I think it's like 5'9", right?
Yeah,
Most quarterbacks are like 6'1", 6'2". But I didn't know McMillan and him were like close since high school. Like they've been
yeah,
buddies since high school. That connection, like he was throwing the ball and McMillan wasn't even out of routes yet. And
yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, y'all been throwing the ball since like in the backyard,
yeah. Since it was small.
yeah, since they were small. Like this is a trust thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, Overall, I thought Oklahoma's defense played well until the offensive line in Arizona finally got the schemes they were running because they were running a lot
Mm.
of twists in the middle.
Yeah.
and they were killing Fafita. Fafita got sacked like 5 times.
Oh yeah, he was
I was
back
just
there.
like, can you help him? Can you help him,
Yeah.
please? I was like, can we block the middle? They're running the same scheme. They're running the twist in the middle. Either they're running with the linebacker or they're running in with the 1-2 technique. I was like, can we get this? Can we get this corrected?
Even with that, bro, like he only threw one pick, even with all that pressure on his face. I don't know how
he took some hits.
Yeah, but he didn't turn over the ball. He just It's just that one interception. But with all them like just in his face the whole game, I'm surprised he didn't throw more or fumble the ball. Like that's crazy. They was on his ass.
So with Arizona going into the Big 12 next year, I think they're going to be one of the favorites to win because a lot of people are coming. Most of their team is coming back.
Okay.
Now Oklahoma going into the SEC with a new experienced quarterback, a new offensive line, a new offensive coordinator. Listen, it ain't looking well.
You don't think?
No, Sam Arnold he threw 4 picks with 3 picks. He fumbled twice. No, he fumbled once and lost a fumble.
But did you see those picks though?
I did.
Some of them weren't even his fault.
You threw him.
You cannot put that like on
you threw. Okay, listen. I guess I can't put that on the receiver, but at the same time,
receiver, bro.
I said I guess you can put that on the receiver,
okay.
But at the same time, if it's like throwing a 50-50 ball, right? You know you got that guy, right? I think you had Stoops and Farouk who were the really wide receivers that stayed that didn't opt out for this game. Mm-hmm. Farouk fumbled twice. I was so happy I didn't bet on him because I was like, listen, and he fumbled on the he was running to the goal line. They were in the red zone. I was like, sir, if I would have had a anytime touchdown for you, I would have threw my phone and had to get a new one, right? Because that's crazy. But the overall, I think it was mostly with the play calling because with Jeff Levy there, I think Jeff Levy had more quick routes. You know how like Oregon runs like the quick routes, quick screens and everything, like with Stoops and all that, and they didn't have that. Their running game wasn't bad. They didn't have a bad running game. But going into next season, I mean, we got spring ball, so I guess they'll get better. They got to get an offensive line because they lost everybody.
Yeah, I mean, but even with that, they didn't look super bad at all. And like you said, the run game, what's his name, Sawchuk or whatever, Gavin.
Yeah,
he ran for 134. I mean, that's not bad at all. Oh, and real quick, shout out to Brandon Thompson, the number 15 that caught the ball. He's a West Texas dude out of Spearman, like really down the road.
Oh, really?
Balling at Oklahoma, yeah. He went to Texas for a little bit, then he transferred to Oklahoma. So shout out to him for being from West Texas
to the other side.
Yeah, West Texas out there balling. But other than that, I mean, to me, they didn't look super bad on offense and defense. But with the interceptions and stuff, they got to just clean that up. And what's his name? Arnold. He for not like playing half the season. Not even. I mean, he had what's his name out there, Dylan. He didn't play super bad. I know he threw those 3 picks, but like I think 2 of those weren't even his fault. Like the receiver just got hit and threw up the ball, and they just took it. And but if they clean it up, I think Oklahoma will be okay. And again, like you said, they got to get another offensive line, and go from there. Especially going into the SEC, they're gonna have to figure that out because that man is gonna be fighting for his life over there. Yeah,
quick.
Yeah.
Imagine they got to go to Ole Miss with Ole Miss all the new transfers, and they got to go play. All right.
Yep.
So, do you think it was a good decision to let Dylan Gabriel go and keep Arnold?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what's it called? He's like what a sophomore or something. What is he?
Yeah, he's a sophomore. So I think the risk was if they kept Dylan Gabriel one more year, that Arnold would enter the transfer portal because they didn't see like they weren't gonna let him have like a full 3 years under the program. He had already sat 1.
Right? Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
yeah, I in my opinion, I think they did the right thing. I mean, shout out to Dylan going to Oregon or whatever, but I think they'll be okay with Arnold going into the SEC.
I hope so, because if they not, I'm not letting Oklahoma Twitter live that down. I promise you that right now. I'm not letting them live that down. Going into our next game, when we talk about quarterback play, we talked about Noah Fafita, right, being undersized and taking hits and being a great player in this game. Sam Arnold not having such a great game, but he has his ceiling. His ceiling is really high, right? He has a high ceiling.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew, but I got a little take about this USC quarterback.
Oh,
Miller Moss. They're
yeah.
calling him Miller Time already.
Yeah.
My key takeaways. Let me just say, USC defense is going to be way better next season.
Mm-hmm.
I saw tackling being way more efficient. I saw the D linemen actually getting off their blocks, actually filling gaps. Right now, Lousville did have a good running back, but at the same time, you got a new defense coordinator. A lot of players opted out. They tackled well because during the season, they was not tackling the soul out there. A fly could have got through that thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was crazy. But hear me out. You see Moss Miller, and you think Miller.
Miller
Sorry,
Moss.
Miller.
Yeah.
You see Miller Time. I'm gonna just call him Miller Time to keep it
Double
simple,
M.
right? Double M. Yeah, double M. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it. Double M. You see him out there, kind of struggles in the first quarter, which is expected because you haven't played a single play all
Yeah.
season. Caleb really been having it because USC was fighting for their life all season.
Mm-hmm.
You sat behind Caleb. Well, sorry, you sat behind Arnold. Jackson Dart when Jackson Dart transferred out to Ole Miss. Lincoln Riley comes in. He brings in Caleb. You sit behind Caleb, and you still stay. You don't transfer out, and you get your opportunity. Right? You get your opportunity to really showcase what you have, and you break the guaranteed rate bowl record: 22 of 33, 372 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Here's my take: Lincoln Riley creates quarterbacks. The system that Caleb Williams was in is the reason he was good. I don't think Caleb Williams is actually that guy.
Well, we've been saying that he's
No,
not
you've
that
been
guy.
saying that.
Now it's just me.
It was
Okay.
just you. It was just you saying that.
Oh, that's
It was just
crazy.
you.
Okay. Hey, whatever. But yeah, Lincoln Riley's always been a quarterback guru going back to Pat Mahomes, even in Houston. I forgot who the quarterback was over there. But yeah, he's always been good with quarterbacks and everything. It's just the system
Defense.
is just, and defense too is just kind of just shoddy. But hey, quarterback, no, he can develop quarterbacks really well. But it's just with this too, I feel like he let them just go out there and just ball out. Like there wasn't no just hey, don't run this. It was because
Yeah.
them shots they were taking, they were just slinging that shit. So I think they just opened up the playbook for him just to see what he has and see what he can do out there. And good for him because he showed what he's capable of in a bowl game. Like he hasn't played all season, like you said, and he just goes out there, throws 6 touchdowns, breaks the record. Man, kudos to him for real. And you saying people opt out? Taj Washington, he declared for the NFL draft, didn't opt out the game, and he scored 2 touchdowns with 99 yards. He didn't have to play at all,
No,
but he wanted to go out there and just play one more time under those USC uniforms and ball out. So kudos to him too, just for actually wanting to go play. But back to Double M, hey, they might have something else. They might have something else going into next year. The way he performed out there, yeah. And if they open up the playbook like this all the time, like just let them go out there and ball, USC can be really good. But just like during the season, like they would go out there and they had like their plays or whatever. But I feel like they didn't open it all the way to completely, if that makes sense. Because Caleb would put up numbers, but it wasn't just down the field throws all the time. It was a few here and there, but they were just throwing downfield almost every play, just slinging that shit. So I mean, they got if they do that, I think they'll be okay. But also, they don't have any kind of defense, so they got to figure that side out too.
I think Double M, you feel me, is a more traditional USC quarterback. When you think
Yeah,
of the
that's a
USC
good way to say
quarterbacks,
it.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna stand in the pocket. He's not gonna run. He's gonna go
Nah.
through his reads, and if he can fit it, if he can fit that ball in there, if he can drop it down, because there's one ball he threw, it was a
That
sideline.
interception.
It was it the interception?
Yeah, because like because I'm you know when you in basketball you feeling yourself. Let me heat check real quick.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he
But
tried to fit that into that corner, but he threw it like way behind him and got picked off. I was like, okay,
yeah,
I see he was just checking it real quick. But yeah, that play right there is just like, yeah, he still kind of has figure out a few things, but I mean, still play pretty well. He just threw it that one pick, but I get what you're saying on that part.
with Miller Moss having a great game, right?
Yeah.
And then William Howard transferring in from Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
What are we feeling for USC's quarterback room next year? Are we saying that, hey, Miller Moss put up 6 TDs with, you know, everybody? There's some opt outs that happen on USC except for the wide receiver you're talking about is going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Coming in next year, USC didn't have the best recruiting class.
Mm-hmm.
Transfer class was, I believe, below average. So with going into next season, and they're going to the Big Ten. The Big Ten plays better defense. We'll get on that later because I think that's full of shit. But um, what do we feel like? Are we saying, yeah, William Howard can come in and get some play time, or do we think Double M Miller Moss can really take that position and William Howard just transferred for no reason?
That's tough. Just because I mean he didn't play all season and then he does that. Is
Yeah.
it a fluke
Mm.
or is he capable of that every? And I mean not 6 touchdowns every game, but playing to that high level every game. And then we got this transfer coming in as well. Has played well for Kansas State. I think it's just going to be more of a competition come time for spring ball and everything, and then go from there. Because, like I said, he hasn't played a lot this season. He performed well on here, but he struggled a little bit at the beginning. I think it's just going to be more of a competition if will come spring ball. If the Duke can perform well in spring ball and do the things that they need to do, I think he will be a starter. But if he gets in his head with, oh, they still got this transfer coming in, am I going to play or not? It could be kind of shaky, and he might lose his spot if that happens. But I mean, it's going to be a great competition come spring ball in summer to going into the Big Ten because, like you said, defense over there, they got to figure it
Yeah.
out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But listen, right? So say he doesn't get this starting position. I think this
Transfer.
game it's put him high on the transfer portal for next year. Because
Yeah.
I think people got to understand we're in a whole different area of college football. It's not like a dude's going to throw 6 touchdowns and break a record and then like, all right, you bring a transfer in, I'll sit and wait another year.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, for sure. That quarterback last night with a little more development can win you some big games. Can definitely get a nice NIL bag. 700 maybe to a million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he definitely his stock went up. I think Lincoln Riley knows that. And if William Howard comes in next season, if he does get to start, but let's say they go to Ohio State and he throws 3 picks. Oh, Miller, it's Miller time, right?
Yeah.
It's time. So that'll be an interesting development to see what happens. I'll be keeping a close eye on that during the off season.
And it's just
For
too
sure.
like you're changing conferences,
Yeah.
and it's not like the Pac-12 where just you're gonna be out there just slinging it and everything. It's gonna be more of a competition because you got Oregon and Washington following you right behind you, and if you perform like you did in the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, you have to find some type of spark. And I don't know. For me personally, I would go into the season with Miller as a starter and see how he performs. And I mean, if he's performing well, then sorry, William. I mean, sorry you transferred over here for nothing, but it is what it is. This dude, he knows the system already. He performed well here, and he's only going to get better. He only threw one interception. He's only going to get better.
They
So
paid William though. They paid him.
I know, but
He got paid. That's a bit.
at the
That's
same
that.
time,
You're at a
yeah.
business table now. You know what I mean? Like
At the same time, though, but like should you have made that move?
Yes.
I don't know. Well, I'm just saying, just like going in retrospective, just like after this, just like should we have made that move, or should we just like, hey, bro, sorry, we can go somewhere else? Because now going into spring ball in the summer, you don't know what who to start now. It's gonna be a battle because one guy, he's already been there for what, a year, 2 years. He knows the system. He's thrown for 6 stars. You see what he can do. And
weapons, yeah.
And then you have somebody coming in from got to learn the system, got to figure out your receivers, and you know how a quarterback's got to break in just with like transferring to another school. So I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be something crazy going into next year. And if I'm Miller and they just like, hey, bro, sorry, I'm out. I'm transferring. Sorry, because my stock is up here now. You not see what I just did? Yeah. I would leave if that's the case. That we paid this guy, he's gonna come in, he's gonna be the starter. What am I here for?
Boy, I'll be getting paid. I'm going to the transfer. As soon as they start the season, you're not to start. That's don't worry about it, pimp. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So
I got a Aurburn on the line because they need a quarterback. Let's go ahead and get that because the Maryland Auburn game. Listen, James, I need to do a deep research study on the SEC versus Big Ten teams in this bowl season, right? Because sometimes it's not a challenge, and then on the other hand, it looks like the SEC is not the best conference in college football. Maryland absolutely bullied Hugh Freeze, the head coach for Auburn, from start to finish. To be honest, I don't think Auburn has had a worse 3-game look on like a 3 games, like 1, 2, 3 games in a row. Yeah. Because you lost, you paid New Mexico State $1.5 million to come play at your house. You lost. You made David Pavia look like he was an all-star. You go to the Iron Bowl. You're winning. You're winning in the Iron Bowl on a 4th and a prayer. A 4th and a prayer, Jalen Milroe throws the ball to Isaiah Bond in the back of the end zone. Done. You come into this game, you're versing Maryland. They don't have their starting quarterback, all right? Tua is done. Tua is going to the NFL, whatever he wants to do, right? Yeah. Mostly everybody on your squad except some QI receivers are there, but you still got your starting running back. You still got your starting quarterback. Offensive line is there. Defense is there, right? Yeah. There's no reason that Maryland, 7-6 Maryland, should be bullying you 21-0 in the first quarter. Are you serious? And listen, Billy Edwards was 6 for 20.
I was about to bring that up. I was like,
he was 6 for good. Bro didn't even bait. He was 6 for 20, and then they bought Cameron Edge, and he was 4 for 6. They each had a touchdown. Billy was 6 for 20, 126 yards, bro. You're telling me a Maryland team that was below average came in and spanked an SEC team that was beating Alabama? How am I judging that on the scale now? Yeah. Right? How am I judging that on the scale? Auburn should listen, I know it's Hugh Freeze first season at Auburn. I'm going to give him slack for being his first season, right? Yeah. If we go into next year and they lose another bowl game or a playoff game to a Big Ten team or a bowl game, whatever happens next year, he needs to go. That's not Auburn football. Year? Yes. Listen. You don't on the first year. You don't almost beat Alabama, losing $1.5 million game to New Mexico State. Go into a bowl game against a 7-5 or 7-5 Maryland and lose, get bullied, right? Come in next season, have a top recruiting class, a good transfer portal, In the SEC, it's going to be hard to make the playoffs because there's going to be a lot of good teams. But let's say you make a good bowl game and it's against a Big Ten team. Let's say, I don't know, Purdue, right? Let's say Purdue or Indiana. Let's just say Indiana makes it. God forbid. You lose to Indiana, yeah, you're an embarrassment. This is we're talking about the Auburn where Cam Newton played. We're talking about the Auburn that returned the kick and beat Alabama in the last seconds. You're a disgrace to the program.
You say that though, but I'm looking at that. Auburn was 6-6. Maryland 7-5. I mean, Maryland was
6-6 in the SEC is different. It's different than 7-5 in the Big Ten.
Oh,
listen,
my bad. Okay.
Yeah. You got to understand, right? I'm a Texas fan. I'm an SEC. Ain't no Big 12 over here anymore. You know?
All right.
We're SEC biased over here. If everybody didn't know, Charles Comer is an SEC biased.
Yeah.
You can't compete with them boys, right? Unless you're Kentucky, because good God. But yeah.
Whatever.
Maryland's trending up.
Trending up?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You think with that quarterback play? He
played bad, but the whole team rallied against him and they got it done. They didn't make mistakes as a team, right? They got a good coach. A lot more people are coming into the Big Ten next year, but I think they're trending up. Now, am I saying they're going to make it to the playoffs? Absolutely not. But can they steal a game maybe next year? Yeah, I think they can steal a game. A game or two, right?
I think they're trending down.
Trending down?
Yeah.
Tua wasn't amazing, bro. Like he wasn't his brother.
It was better than this.
Well, yeah, he started all year.
Okay, we were just talking about the other dude that didn't start all year.
Arnold?
Yeah, no, Double M.
Nah, but okay. Listen.
No. It's the same.
No. Look, it is right. It is the same thing. Okay, I can't argue with that. I'm gonna give you that. It is the same thing. Exactly. It is the same thing. So, okay, you say they're trending down. I see potential. I think Billy Edwards Jr.'s ceiling is high, and they got another quarterback, Cameron Edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Miller Moss ceiling is high. But more than likely, he's going to transfer out, right? So, if we're talking about quarterbacks to show their stock in the transfer portal, Double M Miller Moss did well. Billy Edwards is a Maryland quarterback. You know what I mean? Cameron Edge is a Maryland quarterback. They're not a USC quarterback. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a different caliber.
Okay.
You don't. It's a different. To me, it's a different caliber. Right?
I'm not even gonna argue with you. All right, whatever.
Look, Maryland gonna go like 0-5.
I see a trend down, but whatever you say.
A trend down?
Yeah.
You know, next year when we start up next year, and we get to pick, we're gonna go through all the conference on the team, trend like how many wins they'll have and everything. I want to see what Maryland is predicted to win. I want to see
6-6. I say it right now.
6-6. Nah, 8-4.
8-4.
I'm telling you, bro. Listen. There's gonna be a lot of teams that got to go play Oregon and Washington and UCLA that are gonna come into Maryland the next week banged up, sad, down in the dumps, and Maryland's gonna be like, "All right, here's our opportunity. Let's steal this game. Let's run it up. And they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna do that. Maybe 8-4 is a stretch. Let me go 7-5 just to be safe.
So the same year, same thing as this year.
That's my ticket. It's 7-5 right there. So
same thing as this year. That's what they were this year. 7-5.
But yeah, like Maryland, I think Maryland will trend up. I think they'll be okay. What we need to be worried about for Auburn is Peyton Thorne. I don't think he should be the starter next year, for sure. I don't think he's that guy.
What do you think? They should get a transfer or something, or what?
Maybe William Howard can go down there. Nah.
What do you mean?
I think it's maybe too late to get a high caliber transfer quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, KJ Jefferson is still available from Arkansas. That's the only guy I can pretty think of. But other than that, I mean,
What about if McMillan and Fafita end up dipping?
McMillan and Auburn White, he could fit. They're losing like 4 receivers, so yeah, he could fit. I don't know about Noah Fafita in a huge free system though.
Mm.
Maybe, but I don't
Just a
think he's gonna
thought.
leave Arizona. I don't think
I don't know.
why. Why leave Arizona go to the toughest conference and then we go to the Big 12 and probably run it up? You
Money.
have no. I mean, the Big 12 got cash too. The Big
Um,
12. I mean, they going
I'm
to.
just saying. I don't know. It probably won't happen. I'm just throwing that out there.
If they let's just say they did go to, let's say either Auburn, LSU, or what's the other school that was interested in them? Auburn, LSU, USC. He can't go to
I
USC.
would say you can't go to USC.
McMillan could go to USC and
Yeah.
ball out, but if it's a duo package, it's like we either both go or we both stay. LSU could be good. A&M could be amazing for A&M because I don't think they have a quarterback in that room that's going to do well. Either with
Yeah.
Connor Wigman coming back, I don't think he's going to be well. I don't know. I think they should stay in Arizona. I think they should run it up in the Big 12 next year. I have them favored to win the Big 12 next year for sure.
Okay.
You would think I have Colorado, but no, sir. I have Arizona.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
Now, we're gonna tap this Ole Miss game first, and we're gonna save the Missouri and Ohio State game for last because you got a lot of explaining to do. You got a lot of explaining to
I
do.
got explaining to
You
do.
do. You got some explaining to do.
I'm not out there coaching, bro. But okay, whatever you say.
You was capping for him though. You was capping earlier this season.
Go ahead with the Ole Miss because I got stuff to say too. Whatever.
Okay, so Ole Miss played Penn State yesterday. Lane Kiffin, not a coach for known for winning the big games or basically choking in the big games. He lost to Georgia this season, lost to Alabama. Those are only 2 losses they had. They went 10-2. First 10-win season Ole Miss has had in a while. Jackson Dart looks well. Quinshon Judkins. I didn't know he was that small. My girl actually pointed that out to me yesterday when watching the game. She was like, "He's small." I was like, "But he's quick."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Listen to me. The first quarter, I was yelling at the TV because they were running a 3-man front. They were running it was a 3-3 stacked, right? And Penn State was running the ball like it was crazy. They were slicing and dicing them up like a cheesecake on a Sunday afternoon at the Cheesecake Factory, all right? I'm yelling at the TV. I'm like, if you do not go ahead and put 7 in the box, put 7 in the box. I'm tired of the bull. Put 7 in the box or they're about to win. They're about to win. But what I didn't know is Drew Aller is still trash. He is a bum as Cody for quarterback. Drew Aller is a bum. Drew Aller is a bust. Did you see the throw that he made?
Yeah,
He
I
thought
saw
he was
some of this.
Caleb. He thought his wide receiver had Caleb Williams caliber out there.
Yeah,
He threw the ball. He chunked it deep, right? Because they that's not
that
even
duck you
the
talking
MO.
about? That duck he threw?
Yeah, the duck. Yeah. That's not even his MO. That's not what Penn State does, right? And he threw that thing, and I said, "Oh, it's over. That's game. That's game." Because I'm looking at Lane Kiffin in his bag on the offensive plays. I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, that was a nice play call. Okay, you slight, bro. I was impressed with Lane Kiffin's coaching yesterday.
Yeah,
because Penn State is the number 1 defense in the Big Ten and in the nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got the number 1 defense. Ole Miss had no problem. And I think in the first half they had a problem running the ball.
Yeah,
But they had no problem slicing up that secondary. Now take it, Penn State did have a couple secondary people opt out. But my thing with opt outs, right? If you recruit well and you build your program, right, the next man up should have some type of stability to get the job done, right?
Yeah.
But what's his name? McHarris, I believe his name is, or Harrison. Sorry. Um, that man's gonna be a problem next year. Ole Miss is gonna be a problem next year, for sure.
Yeah. This is one of the teams I see trending up.
Who?
They they played really well. Jackson Dart throughout the season, he's had his ups and downs here and there, but when he plays well, he's balling. That man threw for 3 touchdowns and had two receivers over 100 yards. Of course, Trey Harris is that's a given. He usually does well, but what's his name? Priestcorn, Caden
Oh
Priestcorn
yeah,
had two
the
touchdowns,
tight end.
136. Yeah, bro.
The one hand guy, boy was catching with one hand like this
Yeah,
all day. I said, "Oh, you showing off now?"
but they played better than I thought they were gonna play. To be honest, the game looks closer than what it was. I feel like Ole Miss just had control of the game,
Yeah,
not out the gate, but like maybe second quarter. I feel like they just had control, and I didn't see the like Penn State. Penn State didn't show me anything spectacular, especially on offense. Only person that showed me anything was that the number 11 coming off the edge. That man's a menace. Uh, but other than that, Penn State, bro, I don't know. I don't know why people give them so much credit. I guess because they play in the Big Ten, but who are they? They haven't beat Michigan or Ohio State. They're winning all these rinky-dink games against these lower ranked teams, and you go into this bowl, and Ole Miss just fucking just beat your ass. Like I mean, like I said, the game looks closer than what it was
yeah.
because they did not look good out there. Only thing that looked good was again number 11. I can't think of his name right now, but other than that, was not impressed. Was not.
They didn't.
I was really impressed with the Rebels though.
They didn't go into the They didn't go into the running game like I thought they would in the second half.
Mm.
They kind of like, all right, we're kind of behind, a little behind, so let's try to throw it. And Drew Aller was inaccurate. He's not a sit in the pocket, throw it guy. And they got pressure on him in the
Yeah,
second half. They got some pressure on him, and I'll be excited. I am excited for next year because they're getting a whole brand new defense basically coming in
hmm
with transfers to secondary, all of that, right?
yeah,
But the offense is staying, but they're adding more weapons to it.
hmm
I'll be surprised. For sure, I have Ole Miss in the playoffs next year, making the 12-team
yeah,
playoff. I won't be if they play at home. Like let's say they're a fifth seed, right? And they
yeah.
get a game at the house in the first playoff game. It's a dub. I think it's a dub, and
And
I'll be. Go ahead.
you say they make the playoffs, but with the teams added to the Big Ten, you think they still scrape by? Because I mean, they haven't beat Michigan or.
Ole Miss. I'm talking about Ole Miss. Penn
Oh, my
State.
bad, my bad, my
Yeah,
bad, my bad. Go ahead,
yeah.
profile.
If we talking about Penn State, listen, it's time for Franklin to sit down and look in the mirror and get his retirement package ready. All right, it's
Not
time to go.
retirement.
It's time to go over the 401ks.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to go over the Roth RAs. It's time to tell the wife that hey, we might need to move. Right.
Yeah.
If you don't make the 12-team playoff next year, if you get beat by the newcomers coming into the Big Ten, if you don't beat Michigan or Ohio State, because listen, they do care about that. You didn't beat Michigan, you didn't meet Ohio State this year, and you lost to an SEC team in the bowl. You recruited a quarterback that's below average in my eyes. You're losing your best offensive tackle. He's going to the draft. He's so good, bro. I forgot his name, but he's so good. He's huge too. You get a new offensive coordinator, okay? I'll give you that, but you don't. Penn State doesn't recruit weapons. They just
Mm-hmm.
recruit. Just players, right? Um, kind of like in basketball, you have the superstar, and then you have the players that just the position players.
Yeah.
Penn State doesn't recruit Marvin Harrisons or Caleb Williams or a Walter Nolan on the offensive or defensive line, right? They're recruiting Drew Aller and a guy named Chopped that was his nickname in the secondary. That's it.
Well, you say that, but they also you come out of Penn State was Micah Parsons, Saquon Barkley.
That was then. But since then, what have they had? But listen, when they have superstars, they win, right?
They still lost to these teams though.
But they were top when they were top ranked though when they had Saquon
They were
Barkley.
top ranked this year too.
Who do you mean top ranked? To who?
Penn State weren't they like top 10?
Why were they top 10 though?
That's my question.
Because they play in a weak conference, bro. Who did they beat? If we send, who did they beat?
Okay, but I get all that. It's just, you know what? Flip it. Just
who did they beat?
The Big Ten gets way too much fucking what's it called? Kudos to them because every Big Ten team is great. Well, no, I'll take that back. 3 of these Big Ten teams supposed to be great every year. 2 of them play each other for that playoff spot. The other one,
it's just there. On? It's just
but at the same time, none of them play anybody throughout the season until they play each other. So I don't know how they get these high ranks just because it's Michigan and Ohio State and whatever. But I'll get it next year because they have more competition. But these few years, I mean, Maryland, Indiana, these basketball schools, like I don't get it. I just don't get Rutgers. Like, come on now, they haven't been good since like they had Ray Rice back in 1985. But I just don't get like why they get so much. Like they're these top teams, but they don't play anybody until they play each other. Like I feel I get it, they can be ranked top 25 or whatever, but like top 10, top 5 and stuff like that. I don't know.
My problem is that I don't want to say it's a problem, but you have like Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, right?
Yeah.
I think it's different when you think of teams like from the South and maybe from the West. Like up north, the teams in that conference making a bowl game every year is an accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
And then making a New Year's Six bowl game is an accomplishment to some, right? But when you think about Penn State, at one point is they're going to go over that ceiling because Ohio State's been to the national championship.
Yeah.
Michigan's been to the national championship. If I'm correct, I don't remember a time in my life watching Penn State go to the national championship. Now, I've seen them win a Big Ten conference game. They had Saquon Barkley and they played Michigan State. And they won that game. I actually watched the highlights from that game yesterday. It was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But at what point do you say, okay, we need a rebuild to get to the next level, right? Either James Franklin, with his new offense coordinator he's bringing in, we need to dive deep into our NIL bag, and we need to go beat Ohio State. We need to go beat Michigan. And now you're going to have to beat these other schools coming in, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, in the recruiting battle because they're going to start recruiting in your backyard because they're going to have players there, right? It's got to be either you got to go back to the drawing board and be like, look, like Ole Miss went to the drawing board and be like, all right, we're going all in next year, right?
Yeah.
Or you got to go to the drawing board and be like, all right, if Franklin doesn't get it done next year, we scrap everything and we just start new. And then in 3 or 4 years, we'll revisit and see where we're at. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, you're just always going to be the stepchild, basically, to Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah,
like you're not even getting the last piece of chicken. You feel me? You're getting the bones. That's just crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But I don't know. Franklin in a hot seat for sure. Franklin's in a hot seat. All right. Hugh Freeze is in a hot seat. But before we get to the coaches in the hot seat, go ahead.
I said you can't base that off of just 1 year though. That's crazy.
James, it's a lot of money on the line here.
All right.
They're the networks met, and they're saying they want $20 million per playoff game. Per playoff game. That's a lot of money on the line here. And coaches get paid a lot of money. And people spend a lot of money going games. They are charging $4,000 for a hotel in Georgia versus Alabama next year.
That's crazy.
That's for the Holiday Inn. That's not even for the Ritz-Carlton. I don't even know if they have a Ritz-Carlton in Georgia. That's for the Holiday Inn. That's a lot of money on the line here. You just can't be, tiptoeing around here.
Yeah. But I found it. It took me a while to find it. The last national championship appearance was in 2016 against USC.
That's not that long ago. Penn State. What's that? 7 years?
About, yeah.
So that's the last time they were in. Did they win?
No, they lost, but that's the last time they appeared in one.
7 years? I don't think James Franklin was even coaching there.
Yeah, he's a coach.
Was he the coach?
Yeah, they won 11-3.
7-year drought.
And lost 49-52 to USC.
49-52. So that was a good game.
Yeah.
But a 7-year drought.
So that's the last time they were like even close to a national championship.
A 7-year drought, though. How do you feel? You basically, that's me going through high school and then coming back, and then my junior year, and I'm like, all right, what's going on? That's a 7-year drought.
Yeah. I don't. That was the point that I brought up to you yesterday in the text message. It's like, how can you say Ryan Day's in the hot seat and not Franklin? Because he's not. Go ahead.
We'll get to that. Let me give you the updates. So, sorry, my nose is running. That allergies and everything. Let me get the updates. The transfer portal updates. All right. So, Walter Nolan, number 1 defensive lineman from Texas A&M, is going to the Rebels of Ole Miss. That's going to be great for them. You got Trey Moore, big-time edge player for UTSA. He's staying home and going to play for the University of Texas. Longhorn for life. You feel me?
Nice.
I got to tell you, my girl called me out yesterday also. LT Overton, another high-caliber defensive lineman from Texas A&M. He's going to go play for the prestige University of Alabama under Nick Saban. This one, I'm surprised. Trevor Etienne, superb running back from Florida, leaving the Gators and going to his rivals, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
That is going to be crazy for them to have a good running back. Malik Murphy, former Texas second-string quarterback, is headed to Duke. He's going to be playing under the new head coach, Manny Diaz. We wish him nothing but the luck. And last but not least, one of the transfers that happened in this week, Damani Jackson from USC, cornerback. He's going to go play for the University of Alabama. Hopefully he learns how to tackle because he had a lot of missed tackles at USC and be more physical under Nick Saban. But that is the transfer portal update that we have for you. So let's get into it because I've been preaching this ever since they lost. Ever since they lost Michigan. Or even they were shaky against Penn State, I think. We're gonna first talk about the game. Missouri versus Ohio State. No Marvin Harrison. Okay. You still had some of your key wide receivers playing though. Your offensive line was there. Offensive line been shaky all year for Ohio State. But your offensive line was there. You still had a pretty good defensive line. It was an underwhelming game, for sure, for the first, 3 quarters. And then, listen, for the first 3 quarters, it was underwhelming to me, I guess you could say. I don't know how you felt about the first 3 quarters of the game.
Oh, I was going to say it was all 4 quarters until like the last maybe 8-9 minutes of the fourth quarter.
I was getting very angry that Luther Burton was getting no catches. But Ohio State has a pretty good secondary. I can understand that. When Brady Cook was throwing Drew Allen passes out there, like nobody was in there, I was like, look, I've been preaching this all season. Brady Cook is ass. I don't know why Missouri's doing this. They're trending down whoopty whoop, right? But I forgot they had Cody Schrader.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot they had the walk on from a D2 school who didn't even want to play football but came and walked on to Missouri, right? Missouri showed up for one quarter and beat the shit out of Ohio State in that one quarter.
Yeah.
Ohio State told Kyle McCord, an average, below average quarterback, hey, we're not going to pay you. We go ahead and get in the transfer portal. We're going to go with our backups, right? I'm going to let you know right now, if Kyle McCord played, they probably would have made it 16-14. They probably would have won.
I think they would have won.
I think they would have won if they would have had an established quarterback. Because what happens? Your backup gets injured. You have to go through your third string freshman quarterback. One thing I do like about this bowl season is if a quarterback got injured or if your starting quarterback left, the fans, the media, everybody got to see what your quarterback room looks like for the future.
Yeah.
Right? Texas A&M quarterback future, eh. Ole Miss didn't get to see it. Missouri didn't get to see it. Auburn didn't get to see it. Maryland, shaky. All right, but it's a Maryland. USC, they got a nice quarterback room. All right, throw 6 touchdowns is a nice quarterback room. Um, who else played? I'm sorry. You had Arizona. All right, you had Arizona against Oklahoma. Sam Arnold, we're gonna give him grace. We'll give the Sooners grace. Right? They played okay. And
Yeah.
Fafita's gonna be well. Ohio State has nobody.
I think Devin Brown would have played well if he didn't get hurt. I think he had his a few moments that he looked okay, but once he got hurt, then yeah, it was just you didn't get to see everything that he could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I don't know. I can't say that they have a good future with him just because you barely saw anything. You just had like maybe one or two bright spots, but other than that, going into your freshman, I mean, obviously, bro is not ready at all. So I don't know. And Ohio State played well. Their defense kept them in the game.
yeah, for sure. I think both
And
defenses played well, actually.
yeah, it was just a defensive struggle. It's just I think if Kyle McCord was there, I think they would have won and put up more points than just 3. So I can't put this just Missouri outplayed them. I think it's just the defense got gassed at the fourth quarter because you can only do so much on defense before you break. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So Ohio State didn't play well on offense, but their defense spectacular. What kept them in the game? They got to figure out what they're going to do with the quarterback situation. If Devin Brown's your quarterback of the future, well, he better show something in spring ball or something because again, you only saw 1 or 2 spots before he got hurt, and then your backup to him is yeah, he needs another year or so watching because my guy was stepped into there and just could not do shit. So it was a ugly game for Ohio State offense, but still good job to Missouri for hanging in there too. They were keeping y'all out the end zone till the fourth, so it could have been 3-0 Ohio State at the end of the game if Ohio State could hold off one more quarter. But again, defense can only do so much for you before they break. So, and this dude, what's his name? Cody Snyder was pounding
Schrader,
on
Cody Schrader.
just Schrader. My fault was just going crazy for 29 carries. Yeah, that's gonna wear your defense down
Yeah,
immensely. So I'm
and their
I
their
can't.
offensive line played finally well because in the first half, Missouri's offensive line was getting absolute. I
Yeah,
was looking at the TV. I was just like, "Hey, left guard, you have to block. You got to make that
that
block."
edge coming off right there.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you got to make that block. The left side was the problem for Missouri,
yeah,
and then in the fourth quarter, I saw a little spark, and they fixed it. I said, "Okay, you finally." I guess it took what 4 quarters for you to go
yeah.
in there and see what's going on, but you finally fixed it. So
And that was
yeah,
my thing too. Is like, how good is Missouri if they were what's it called? If they couldn't even score this whole, yeah, I mean they had their offense, and
Yeah,
Ohio State's just how good are they really? I mean, yeah, they're 11-2 or whatever now, but I don't know. From the Missouri I saw like in the regular season till now, it's still shaky. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
it is
I
shaky.
yeah, it's just I get it's just Brady Cook to be honest. I think if they had like a solid quarterback, I think they'd be I say way better. Like they're not 11-2, but like more effective in the offense in this bowl game because he's been up and down all year too. So
I
their
think
their
the
defense was
scheming for
solid.
the scheme for Brady Cook has to be better because I think he's because they didn't. I don't think they ran him a lot this season. They didn't do a lot of RPO
Yeah.
because I think they had a lot of weapons. They let Schrader run the ball a lot. They were trying to get the ball to Luther Burden and all that. The Missouri, the Missouri wide receiver crew.
Mm.
But when he runs and he has space, he's tough and he
Yeah.
can really get it. And I think they're gonna have to look to that next season
Yeah. Incorporate that a
because
little bit more.
incorporate that a little bit more because it works, right?
Yeah.
It works. But hear me out. You're sitting in Ohio State, the University of Ohio State. You lose to Michigan. You lose. You beat Penn State. You lose to Michigan. You don't make the college football playoffs. You, as an organization, make the decision. Ryan Day comes into you, says, "Hey, Kyle McCord is not going to cut it as the Ohio State quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Because as we said in the group chat, when you play for Ohio State as a quarterback, you play for the Ohio State.
Yeah.
So you let Kyle McCord go. He's asking for a little more bread, because he wants to be a starter. You already been developing him, right? He was 66% completion rate over the season, below average, but still won games, right? Because you have
Yeah.
Harrison. Julian Fleming is going to Penn State, predicted. It's crystal ball by 247. So you're losing that wide receiver. What do you say? What is your basis to be like, hey, don't put me on the hot seat yet. Let me have a couple more years. What is your basis for that? Because you can't beat Michigan, Penn State. Yeah, you beat them, but you got newcomers coming in. You got Oregon, you got Washington, you got UCLA. If they lose to any of those teams and lose, listen, 8-4, Ohio State is not good for
Yeah.
Ohio State. 8-4, anything less than 10 wins is not good for Ohio State. I don't care if they beat Michigan and then they beat Penn State.
Oh, now it's
Wait,
that
wait, wait,
now.
wait, 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 wait. Let me explain. If they beat Michigan and they beat Penn State next year, it looks good on this resume. But if we go to the college football playoffs and you lose, and it's because maybe like say your quarterback room or something like that, that's gonna come back to bite him in the ass, bro, for letting Kyle McCord go. That's going to come back to bite him in the ass. I don't think Kyle McCord was C.J. Stroud or Barrett, right?
Yeah.
But you don't get those guys. That was one in a lifetime. You don't get those guys just, they don't
Yeah.
come around like leaves in the fall, right? Those are pick of the litter. You gotta go and get those guys in the portal or in the recruiting, and you haven't done that. Ryan Day's on the hot seat for me.
Hmm.
Um, Next season is his defining season. If he doesn't do well, if he beats Michigan, loses to Penn State, beats loses to Michigan, beats Penn State, goes to a college football playoff, he may be okay. Okay, he may be okay. I'm saying it's a 50-50. If he loses to, let's say, Oregon, I don't even think they play Oregon, but if he loses to one of the newcomers and loses to Michigan, wins Penn State, and barely misses the college football playoffs, it doesn't make that 12 top team, but it's a wrap. You can wrap it up. It is
How long?
done.
How long has Ryan Day been there?
Urban Meyer left in 2017. 16. No,
So he's been there a while.
I think Urban Meyer left in 2018. So, like we say, James Franklin's had a 7-year drought since he's
Yeah,
made it to the
yeah.
national championship. However, Ohio State went to the national championship a couple years ago. Last year,
Uh,
or a couple years ago, yeah.
I can't even like vouch for Buddy just because like it's it just you let go like your best quarterback just because you didn't want to pay him, and then you see what your quarterback room looks like behind this what's it called Drew or whatever. You're 2-4 in bowls.
Against the
You're
SEC, you're 2-15, 2-16 now. Ohio State as a whole is 2-16 against the SEC in
yeah.
bowl games.
That little M is your fucking kryptonite. What's it called? You got newcomers coming in that are ready to fucking compete in the Big Ten. Penn State, yeah, cool. Michigan, I don't know how good Michigan's recruiting or transfers has been, and I know they're losing a few people. So
I think they're going to
I
lose their coach too. I don't think he's going
okay.
to be here.
So maybe next year's your year to beat Michigan, but at what point then? Just because if they're losing mostly everybody, and then you turn around, you may lose to what UCLA. I don't like you said. I don't know if they're playing Oregon and Washington, but you lose to one of them. I don't know.
Washington.
So I don't know where you go from here. You don't have anything on the offense side of the ball that can get to your playmakers on the outside. Like there's no quarterback. There's just nothing. Your play calling is not great. I tried like to say my piece during the season, but I got nothing, bro. Like
No,
he is just
the
not.
play calling was awful.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say the play calling was awful for a backup quarterback, bro.
I'm like I said about these other teams. Like this is the last game of the season. You're not playing for a national championship or nothing. You're just playing a bowl game. Just open the playbook and see what happens. Like it was just I don't know. Like he was just how like micromanaging this quarterback, like his freshman quarterback, just because he's a freshman. It it's just a bowl game, bro. You're not playing for a national championship. Let that man just go out there and just play. Let's
He
see what
wasn't trying
happens.
to lose the game. He wasn't trying to win the game. He wasn't trying to lose it. That's
Yeah,
how I saw it. He wasn't trying to basically go out there and score. He was just saying, let's run the clock out. My defense has been playing well,
yeah.
right? So I know they'll probably get a stop, but my offense is shaky. So let me just run as much time as I can off the clock and, call safe play calls.
If I'm the defense, bro, I'm like, hey man, just let him throw it. Just let him just 5 wide or whatever. Just let him see what happens. Because if you just run the ball or whatever, and the game is close, it's 3-0 to the fourth quarter. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, at least try. Just give them a chance, you know. But I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just these little things like that, and then they're what 0-7 or how long? How long has it been since they beat Michigan? I think it's like 7 or something like that.
Say
Anyways,
7 years, yeah.
beside the point, it's just it's just shit. Is what it is. Just hot shit. It's just not doing what he needs to do at
I
Ohio
told
State.
you it was a shit show. I told you.
And I know I've been like caping for dude and everything, but after this bowl game, it's just man, what are we doing? Like what are we doing? And I know G is talking about all that on Twitter the other day too, and just like I can't argue it anymore. Like bro is just not doing
Listen,
what he's supposed to do at Ohio State, so it could be a wrap next year. And
it's a wrap.
I don't see them making the playoff.
I don't see I don't see a Big Ten team making the playoffs unless it's one of the newcomers.
Yeah,
To be honest with you,
same,
I don't
same.
see Michigan making it. I for sure don't see James Franklin and Penn State making it.
Unless they
I
just
mean, unless
find
Drew Aller
something.
gets some magical beans this
Yeah,
summer, and 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 they get some great talent in the transfer portal in the second half of the transfer portal.
and
Yeah,
that goes back to my other point. It's just like, why do we give so much grace to these Big Ten teams coming into the season when they don't play anybody besides by the time they only play each other? Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. why do we give them so much grace and everything? Like they have these top teams and they just beat each other and that's it. And then we go to a bowl game like this and you put up 3 points. They have scored a touchdown for in a bowl game like for so many amount of years or whatever, and then you just put out three and break that streak. It's just what are we doing? And Penn State too, just like what's going on over there? It just they get too much grace coming into the season, and they play nobody until they play each other, and then they go into a bowl game, get mollywopped, and then we're back to next season. They're top 10 teams again. Just it doesn't make any sense. Like they're not the SEC. They're losing to the SEC almost every year in a bowl game. It's ridiculous to me. It just I don't ever in my eyes, even Michigan, I think they're okay. They're undefeated, yeah, but I think they're just okay. That's just my opinion, but
Hold that point.
go ahead.
So hold that point because we're gonna get to the final discussion of these games, okay? But I'm glad you came to the dark side. I'm glad you over here on the hate Ryan Day train. You feel me? It wasn't booked over here. We had plenty of room for you. All right. We got a first class seat for you. We got a meal plan and everything. Buckle up. It's gonna be a long ride, right? It may be a little bit of bumps and a little bit of, maybe I'm on the wrong side, but trust me, we're going to get to the finish line safe and sound. We're going to get to the finish line safe and sound. But we we got a championship. We got a national championship next Monday that's got to be played.
Yeah.
We got semifinals coming up Monday.
Tomorrow? Yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
The first. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
January 1st of 2024. Happy New Year's to all the fans that's going to be listening to this. The only thing I'm changing in 2024 is really going to the gym this time. Other than that, your boy's going to be still doing podcasts. I'm still about that life and I'm chilling, I'm chilling. Before I get into the games, tell me why yesterday I'm like talking to my girl watching the game. She was like, when I met you, you were a Florida State fan. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, when? She's like, I bought you a shirt, a Seminole shirt that says Comer on the back of it. She's like, and then 2 years later, she was like, I bought you an Alabama hoodie. And she's like, now you're walking around with a Texas hat. She's like, who are
Crazy.
you? I was like, listen, I don't need you to clock me.
Hey, you was caping
teams.
for Texas Tech next year too, being a Texas fan.
Whoa. First of all,
no, I'm about.
Well, first of all, I'm an SEC fan, right?
Oh, okay.
Texas Tech. Listen, if Texas Tech wins the Big 12 next year, you're going to catch me in Lubbock in all the activities. I'm not going to jail, right? Because they don't play in Lubbock. As we've had some nights in Lubbock, James. Let's keep it.
G, if you hearing this, bro, this is one of you guys, the Texas fan over here, caping for them people down in Lubbock. Just so if you listen to this,
I want them to have a little bit of shot.
Man.
We left them in good hands, right?
All right.
We left. Utah is going to the conference, and then Arizona, Colorado, but you got a good recruiting class. You got a real nice wide receiver coming in. You lost your quarterback, but it's West Texas. You can always find a West Texas quarterback, right? Go grab one from Earth. You feel me?
Sure, relax.
Right. Grab one from Earth, Texas. James got connections down there.
All right.
But off topic, but here we go. Michigan, Alabama. I know we talked earlier, other episodes, and at first I was saying Michigan might have a chance. Then I kind of switched and I said they have no chance against Alabama. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this. Let me explain. Alabama has shown flaws during the season, right? That have been exploited by teams. LSU, Auburn. Georgia didn't exploit them, which was kind of crazy. But you give Nick Saban a month. You give everybody a month to prepare. But now you got Jim Harbaugh also in Michigan. You give him a month to prepare with a self-driven football team, right? The point spread is 1.5. It hasn't changed. What does Vegas know that I don't? Do they think that Jalen Milroe is going to throw 3 picks? They think that somebody's gonna get hurt during the game. I don't know. It's weird to me because 80% of the money is on Alabama right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be playing in a Rose Bowl. A lot of crazy things happen in Rose Bowls. All right.
Yeah.
So, as your final pick, are you sticking with Alabama to win this game?
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Alabama.
You're sticking with them.
I have. I'm not even worried at all.
You're not worried at all. Not a
No.
not a
Did
not
you
a.
not just hear my spill about Michigan and the Big Ten? I'm not worried.
Listen, Michigan has. Except when we talk about ceilings, right? Michigan has always got to the ceiling, but they never been able to break it. Right? They lose to TCU last year. They lost the other championships game. Uh Tim Harbaugh is supposed to leave and go to the NFL. He's already hired an NFL agent, right? He hasn't signed the contract extension for Michigan. So it's looking like this is going to be his last rodeo. Why not just throw it all out there? Why not beat the Alabama Nick Saban, go win a national championship?
That's cool
That's
and
what
all.
that's
That's
one of
cool and all,
what I'm saying.
but as Alabama, the end of the season was playing well. Besides the Auburn game, they beat Georgia. That was the number one team that was supposed to go back and win another national championship. They've been playing well, and Michigan has played nobody.
You're right. Hear me out.
So,
Here's my argument. Here's the only reason why I say Bama over Michigan. If you look at Bama's roster right now, there is no player on Alabama that was recruited that is less than 75 in the top 75 players. So any player on Alabama in their recruiting class was top 75. That is a team full of athletes. Okay, you go to Michigan, it's a development team, right? They develop their players. They develop their offensive line, their quarterbacks, right? So do the freak athletes win the game or do the developed athletes win the game, right? Against a coach that's been there and got it done or a coach that's been there and hasn't been able to break through that ceiling. That's why I'm pushing for Alabama with that take.
mhm,
I think Alabama's talent will outdo Michigan's team development.
mm,
I think Nick Saban's coaching, his tenacity will outdo anything the Harbaugh could bring to the table.
yeah,
I'm saying Alabama by 14. It's my final thing.
gotcha.
And hear me out on this. I'm not switching. I ain't gonna switch. I don't even know if I'm gonna get to watch the game tomorrow because work, bro.
Yeah,
Bills gotta be paid. Bills gotta be paid. But I got Alabama by 14.
gotcha.
So
I might be throwing it, but I'm gonna go Alabama by 21.
I was gonna say 21 at first, but I'm gonna give the Michigan running game some respect.
I wanted to go higher, but I'm gonna give it 21.
Higher?
Hey, I already said 21. We're not with it. That's it.
Okay. All right. Now, let me take this off for this next one. I gotta take
Okay.
this off. Take this off. I don't feel right wearing this because of the take I'm about to take.
That's crazy.
Washington against Texas. All right. When I first started the podcast, I told you I was SEC biased, and that still relies, right? I don't think that Texas is going to be able to stop Washington's wide receiver.
Okay.
However, I don't think Washington's going to have an answer for Texas either. If this is going to be a track meet, right? If this is going to be a track meet on who has the ball as, who can win, let it be known I'm choosing Texas, baby. Let
Oh
it be
my
fucking
gosh.
known that I'm choosing Texas. You tell Michael Penix that Tavondre Sweat came into Texas at 294 pounds, all right? 294 pounds. He is 362. That is a pure muscle of a man. Listen, that was a crazy fact that I looked up this week. The man came into Texas at 295 pounds. He's 362, and he moves like a freight train. All right, they're not ready. I don't care that offensive line was number one in the nation. I don't care they won the best offensive line award. Texas is going to go into this game and they're going to dominate Washington. Washington's going to get smacked in the mouth. Michael Penix will score. I'm gonna give you that. But Penix is going to be banged up like no other. He's going to be in for the fight of his life. He better make sure that the quarterback rib cage that they be wearing and that back flap, make sure it's tight and strapped up. All right, because this is a whole nother physical Texas team that I don't think they're going to be used to.
This man put that hat on like he signed a letter of intent.
You feel me? I did. I signed my letter of intent. You feel me? Just like that.
That's funny you say all that because the first time we talked about this, you was kind of, we're at the offensive line, this and this and that, and I told you about I was talking about a Texas defensive line, but now you don't know came to the dark side and everything. So
holidays, food comas. You know what I mean? Stuff rattles in your mind at times. Long nights. I work nights, so I be tripping sometimes during the day. But I'm right. I got a little break. You know what I mean? Got my senses right. So yeah, we're good.
What is your pick?
Texas by 7.
7?
I think it's gonna be a track meet, but it's gonna be one of those games where fourth quarter, Texas is up by 7. Michael Penix is on the 30-yard line. He takes a 12-yard sack. They kick a field goal. They don't get it. Texas gets the ball, runs the ball out, and it's over. That's what I don't think it's going to be like, listen, if it goes into overtime, I'm out. Don't even take my picks anymore. We can't do that. If it goes into overtime, God knows what the hell can happen in overtime with Michael Penix in the ball. A Doomsday is catching the ball. Let's go ahead and get that 50-50 ball from a Doomsday didn't catch. But Xavier Wade is also catching that 50-50 ball. If it goes in overtime, we might see like 4 overtimes. I don't even know how many you can go in college football. Might see a 4 overtime game. Texas knows it's going to be a track meet, but I think they're prepared to run that last leg.
All right. So you said it all. I mean, I pick it Texas too. So, but I think I go with. I think I'll just do 14. Yeah.
14?
14.
That's respectable.
I wanted to do like you said, the break, everything like that. Thought about it because I was about to put 30 down.
30?
But I'm gonna be chill and say 14.
30 is crazy.
Hey, it is what it is. But 14 for sure.
All right. Well. Oh, also, who I'm excited to see. We really want to talk about this game, but the Tennessee quarterback, Nico.
Oh yeah.
He's Joe Milton decided to opt out. Thank God, because Joe Milton is garbage. He opted out, so we get to finally see Nico, the number 1 quarterback in the 2023 class. 2023 class. So I'm excited to see what he does and what's good for Tennessee next year.
I'm ready to see this 50 ball on Liberty on Wednesday.
Boy, you better hope it's 50 ball because if Oregon lose, y'all ain't living that down. And then I'm gonna have to look at y'all. I'm gonna have to look at y'all sideways going into the Big Ten. I'm gonna be like, hey, y'all Penn State over here, you can't win the big games. You beat everybody else.
All right, nah, I have all the faith in them. I have all the faith in them.
I do too. I think Bo Nix is gonna put up like 6 touchdowns. That's gonna be outrageous. However, if something does crazy happen, hear me out. God bless.
I'm not gonna hear that. I'm not gonna hear the end of it.
No, for sure not. You're not. As soon as they lose in the group chat, I'm about to go crazy with me. I'm about to go crazy. But all right, man. I appreciate you linking up with me today. I know it's been tough for us to link up in holidays and Christmas, but we got a lot coming. We're still gonna be giving y'all some content. Going into the off season, we'll probably link back up next next Sunday to talk about the national championship game and who that will be.
And the rest
If
of the
it's
bowl games.
in the rest of the bowl games, Texas Alabama is who I have going into. Will be a rematch, but who knows? Who knows what might happen?
For sure.
But that is my pick for the national championship game
Same
for
here.
sure. I appreciate everyone coming out. Thank you for listening on the Over and Under podcast. If you could please subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Instagram, leave a 5-star review on wherever you listen, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon. We would really appreciate it. If you have a question that you want, anything about the teams or just any of our opinions, go ahead and post that under the 5-star review. We will get to that and answer it on the podcast.
Or
But yeah,
even on IG too.
yeah, IG also. If you want to, on IG, we'll be posting on our story. So ask a question, send a DM. We're more than open, and we'll get to answering that.
For
But
sure.
we appreciate you, James. Go ahead and go get some food because I am starving.
Oh, I'm
But
about to go to Lubbock.
you gotta go to Lubbock.
Yeah. I told you the other day, yesterday.
Oh yeah, it's your girl's birthday, right?
No. The
Uh,
what's it called? I gotta go record my my other buddy's
Oh yeah, you're
G.
gonna record another podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, for sure. Tell G I said what's up, and tell him I need some real estate in a couple golf rounds. All right.
Bet.
But all right, man. We'll catch y'all later. This is yours truly, James and Charles from the Over and Under podcast. We
We
out.
out.